And Greg, I want to get your take on just the exhaustive process that is Brexit. But at the moment, I'm looking at WCRS on the Bloomberg. I'm looking at which currencies are outperforming. And on the day of this important speech, the pound is outperforming. But that's all about, well, the MPC, it would seem. And is it much more about what's happening in the Bank of England than this political posturing?
I think, when we think about the Bank of England, we're likely to see, no major changes in the course of the next year or two. I mean, there's still a tremendous amount of uncertainty in terms of the whole Brexit process. I mean, we're starting to see a softer tone emerge, but realizing that this is going to be a long-term process, as the prior speaker was mentioning. There's going to be a long transition, and the markets will have to wait and see how this all plays out over the course of the next several years.
Jason, businesses, meanwhile, have to carry on, keep making decisions. But how can they when, as Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan says, we don't even know how many hundreds of people are going to eventually have to move? Does this sort of political risk affect decision making, and what does it mean for the markets?
Absolutely. I think as a small business owner myself, it's very difficult to make long-term decisions, particularly as it relates to capital spending or employment, without knowing what the rules are. And I think obviously we have the same issue here in the United States. I tend to think that the issue is a little bit more intense in the Eurozone, and that's simply because of what we call kind of the possibility of a never-ending, which is the fact that you have 28 countries that are going to continue to have elections, and there are real existential questions about, I think, the sustainability of the union over a long period of time. And economic growth is stronger now, so a lot of those questions are kind of tamped down a little bit. But in my opinion, you've seen a lot of money flow into European equities this year. In my opinion, I think there are better values in Japan, actually even perhaps in the United States. But it clearly, I think, as you point out, the political risks, not only for the UK, but for the continent itself, I think remain significant.